What's going on, everybody? Hope y'all are having a good day. So yeah, let's see, what do we got to talk about? So we're gonna start here with a little clip from Dollar Shave Club.
Oh, man.
The full video is in my link in the description box down below. After you watch my video, go over there and watch theirs. It is really good. It's very inclusive. I'm very proud of Dollar Shave Club, and I'm happy to work with them as a sponsor. All right, let's get to the video. So as you can tell from the title, today we're gonna talk about long distance relationships and tips that I have found to make them work. Long distance relationships are not easy. I have been in several now. My longest relationship, I was with a guy for 5 years, and for the majority of that we were long distance, and we made it work. We figured out ways to make it work. It did not end up not working because of long distance. It was other things. You can definitely work through it. It just takes some time and effort, and you really have to be committed to it. Let's go through some of the tips that I have come up with to help with long distance. You meet somebody while you're traveling, or you meet somebody while you're visiting town, or they're visiting town, or something like that, and you really hit it off and you want to make it work. You absolutely can. Don't feel obligated to. And here's the thing, the way that long distance relationships have worked the best for me is just to kind of go into it without that huge expectation and looming pressure that this has to work. Go into it like, let's try it. Let's make it work. I'm gonna do whatever I can, and I'm gonna put effort towards it, but you don't want it to control your life, right? My favorite thing about relationships in general is that one person that is a completely different person from another person get together and share those things that makes them unique with the other person, but that doesn't mean they're changing the other person to this person, right? So you're still individual people that are dating, right? And that's who you have to remain. So it's very important to make a relationship work in general, to stick with the things that you love to do and maintain your individuality, right? So I love playing video games. My boyfriend Ryan, he doesn't love playing video games. He'll play them with me sometimes because that's what I like to do, but I'm not making him play them, and I'm not stopping playing them because he doesn't like playing them. So we still get to do our own things. I get to do what I enjoy. He plays with me because that's sometimes what he likes to do, but there's no pressure for me to stop or for him to do it, right? That's the most important thing I feel like about relationships in general, is just maintain that individuality. Because then if he becomes me, I don't want to be with myself, right? I want to be with Ryan. I want to be what he's like. So then he still does the things that he loves to do, and then I love that. I love that about him, right? Long distance relationships, make time for it. What we did and what has worked for me is just planning to FaceTime every night before we go to bed. Okay, obviously there are nights where you're gonna go out and do stuff with your friends. That's awesome, we want you to do that, right? But you have to be very vocal and communicative about that. You can't just at the last minute, so say you say, all right, we're gonna FaceTime at 9 my time, 11 your time every night. And then great, talk for 30 minutes, whatever, however it works for you guys, to find a time every day that you can see each other and talk. So that's why I love FaceTime, Skype, that kind of stuff. You kind of expect that, and you have that time to talk about your day and to catch up and tell everything that's going on. Talk about what you ate for lunch. Literally just spend some time together every day. Okay, so yeah, say you can't. Say, today I'm gonna go have dinner with my friends and that's not gonna work. I'm not gonna be able to do that. Reschedule, do it earlier. If you can't do it at all today, just tell that person, hey, I'm gonna go do this. And then that gives them that flexibility. They're not expecting that time that day. The most important thing is communication with a long distance relationship, because that's all you have. You don't have that awkward, like I could just show up at your house and like apologize if I do something, or if I don't say something that I want to say. Like, it's a lot harder, right? One thing that we did a lot was like dates, honestly, through FaceTime. I feel like it helps a lot. We would watch movies together and TV shows together through FaceTime. So I would set it up on my TV and he would set it up on his second computer. And then at the same time, we would turn on the show and we would start it together and make sure that it was relatively in sync. We really watched like all of Game of Thrones that way. And it was great because we could talk about what was happening while we're FaceTiming and watching the show, and it felt like we were just hanging out. It felt very real, and I love that. I feel like that's something that helps a lot. We would always make popcorn, like I would make popcorn, he would make popcorn, we would eat it together while we were watching the movies, and it really felt like we were just on a date. Obviously you can't cuddle or whatever, but I loved it. I look forward to it all the time. And then we found other things that we could do together long distance, like play video games. And we would Skype and play video games all the time. And that really helped us have that level of connection. Find something else that you can do. Watch YouTube videos together. Talk about the different things that are happening in, I don't know, whatever you like. If you're a news person, you like to read the news all day, every day, then, you know, you could find a way to make that connection. I would watch movies and shows that he wanted to watch, and he would watch movies and shows that I wanted to watch, and it kind of felt like we were really there together. Oh my gosh, cook a meal together on FaceTime. That is so much fun. It's so funny. Take your shirts off, whatever, you know, get in something sexy, set the camera up in the kitchen, or the computer up in the kitchen, and FaceTime, and, you know, cook something. You know, it's while they're doing it and you're doing it, it's just funny to watch the other person, and it's a good time, honestly, and it really helps. You just have to maintain a level of engagement with that person. If you don't talk to them for a week and then you call them and they're like, hey, how are you, and stuff like that, you don't have that relationship connection that most people would get if you were living in the same town and dating. Jealousy in long distance relationships is hard because you think, oh my gosh, they're not texting me back, I haven't heard from him today, I don't know what's happening. Like, I feel like he's just left me, and it would be so easy for him to just break up with me because we're so far apart. You can't let that happen. So that's the hardest part, is controlling that jealousy. Maintain a relationship with, you know, where you can text him and say, hey, where are you, what's going on? But, you know, he's living his own life. If he lived here, he wouldn't be texting you all day every day anyway. So you have to remember that, right? Just take everything very, very easily. Don't overreact. If you don't hear from them for a while, that's fine, right? They're maintaining that individuality. They're going out and doing the things that they love to do. You do the same thing, right? Don't be spiteful and say, oh, he hasn't texted me today, so I'm not gonna text him back. Like, that does not keep a relationship going. That's how you ruin a relationship. Just keep a very level head if you can. Just relax and breathe, and remember, this person likes me, even if they're not responding to me right now, even if I haven't heard from them in a little while, like, everything is fine. It's just so easy to think, oh my gosh, it's over, you know, just because they haven't responded, but that's not what that means. Remember, communication is key. Tell them if you're having a problem. Say, hey, I didn't hear from you for the last 2 days, and that really bothers me. Is that something that we could, you know, work out? If you don't, it's just gonna simmer up. You live long distance, you're just gonna be more clingy, and then they're gonna pull away, and it's just not gonna work. You just gotta relax, right? So when I say communication, I mean be verbal and talk about the things that you feel like you want and need. Not texting, talking all day, every day, because that is not what you would be doing if you lived in the same town, right? It means that I think that it is important to have some time set aside for the person, not, oh my gosh, we need to be texting all day, every day. You need that individuality, okay? So that's why I'm saying that, like, you need your space, but it's great to talk about the things that you need, okay? FaceTime sex, Skype sex. I mean, obviously you're old enough here, you're over 18, right? Do it, honestly. Like, don't be afraid. You gotta talk about the things that you want. If you wanna do something weird on camera and you want them to see it, obviously within reasons, talk dirty to each other, right? Like, you gotta do that. If you don't do that, you're gonna feel sexually deprived. One of you's gonna cheat. It's not gonna work out. If you open relationships your thing, you wanna try that together, just talk about that and say that's what you want. Set some ground rules, right? Whatever it takes. Just, you gotta, like, I feel, you know, sex is important, and you gotta set the rules. You gotta talk about what you want, and if you wanna, you know, be dirty on FaceTime with somebody, like, do it. That's okay. Talk about it with him or her, and then it makes it so much easier. Honestly, communication is key. One thing that really helped me, and we had the ability to do it, was to know when we were going to see each other again, right? So Ryan would come here and spend a week with me, and then that was crazy. It was great when we got to spend a full week together. But then if I didn't know when we were gonna hang out again, it was sad, you know? But if you knew, hey, I am coming to see you in 4 weeks, not bad, right? I'm coming for a weekend, like, I have something to look forward to. I have a lot of stuff that I want to get done before then. I've got my mindset on things. Like it makes it easier. If you don't know when you're gonna hang out again, that makes it tricky. So if you can try and schedule a time that you're gonna see each other again, do it. We were really good about it. We were able to see each other every 3-4 weeks or so, and we knew who was going where and when we were coming back. We would always plan 1 or 2 out, so we never really had that unknown of we weren't gonna see each other again. That really helps. If you have the ability to do that, do that. One thing that we really liked to do was meet in the same place sometimes. So we got really, I mean, we were both grown adults with full-time jobs, so we can afford to make a vacation out of our visiting each other. So both of us met in San Diego one time. I live in Denver, he was in New York. We met in San Diego, which worked really well. That works, and we got to like have a vacation out of it. It was great. And then one important thing that I feel like it was okay, but also kind of bad. I don't really know how I feel about this yet, but when we started dating, within the first couple of weeks, I decided after we've been together for a year, if we stay together for a year, I'd like to start talking about moving closer to each other, right? So we had that goal, because you can't just, and we started thinking, would I move there? Would he move here? Would we both move somewhere else? We had to have that discussion. We had it a couple months after we had started dating, and I feel like that's realistic. After you've been together for a little while, you have to put a goal of when you would start considering to move, or one of you would start to consider to move. And so we decided halfway, 6 months in, 8 months in, something like that, that my boyfriend Ryan was gonna move to Denver for me. And so I was willing to move to New York for him, but we decided that he wanted to move here more than I wanted to move there. It's what he wanted. I was happy about it, so it ended up working out. It was just the easiest way for us to do it. So a lot of people then that are long distance move closer together and then move into the same 1-bedroom apartment or something like that, and it's just rough. I would say it's worth it, if you really want it to work, to get your own spaces at first and try living and dating in the same town for a little while. It has been so helpful for the two of us. We're still at that point. So Ryan moved here a couple months ago to Denver after being long distance for a long time, and got his own apartment. It's small. I have a small apartment. We have 2 separate spaces, and then we pretty much just hang out every day, right? So we still have our own spaces and our own friends and do our own things, and Ryan, we hang out pretty much every day anyway, but we still can get away and like date as living in the same city, so we kind of see what that's like. No surprise, it's been amazing. So we are now starting to talk about, well, when would we consider moving in together? Just tiny steps, talk about what you want, talk about what you need, and that is the most important part. What tips do you have for long distance relationships? What are some things that you've learned personally? I feel like every relationship is unique and different, and one thing that worked for one of my other relationships now would never work. So I feel like you kind of have to think about the person that you are, the person that you're with, and tailor it specifically for you guys. But if you've got any tips that are helpful and you think that would be good for other people, please leave them down in the comments below. If you're having problems in your relationship, if you're in a long distance relationship, I'm not a relationship counselor, but ask in the comments below. People have experience. We can see if we can help, right? Be sure you leave a thumbs up on this video if you like where I sit and talk about relationships and stuff like that, and dating, I don't know. And then subscribe, please subscribe if you don't already. It really does help me, and that subscriber count is what gets me advertisers and things like that. So that's what keeps this YouTube channel going. So if you like the videos, please be sure you subscribe. New videos coming out soon. Have a good rest of your day, you guys. I love you all. I'll see you guys soon, and remember, never stop learning. See you guys.